Hey, what's up guys, it's Marv and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 video. Today I will be reviewing the new Alfa Romeo Giulia GTAm, and this is actually pretty good timing because we are right in the middle of the Grand Prix where you can potentially unlock this car. So really this is a good video if you want to try and decide whether or not you want to spend tokens on this car during the Grand Prix in order to try and unlock it. Now, of course, there will be a couple of you guys out there who may not need to even spend any tokens at all to unlock this car, and if you can do that, I recommend that you take that path to get this car because otherwise, I don't really think it's worth spending tokens on this car for a couple of reasons. Before I get into it, I want to thank Gameloft for letting me access this exclusive test drive for this car. You'll see all of the different maps that I had access to with a max gold Alfa Romeo, so you can see the car at its best and maximum performance without overclock. So this car is in a bit of a weird spot, and the reason why I'm not 100% recommending it unless you can get it pretty easily in the Grand Prix is because of where it sits in D class. It's not quite a king as you can see by its rank, but it's also sort of in the middle of two of the best D class cars, and some of which are pretty easy to get in my opinion. Now, the first thing is let's look at the top speed. Without nitro, you're looking at 194 miles per hour, and with nitro, it maxes out at about 202, 203 miles per hour. And again, that's a bit of a weird spot. Don't get me wrong, for D-Class, that's actually quite good. If you look at a lot of the other high-end D-Class cars, they tend to top out at around 194 miles an hour, around that range. And actually, one of the cars I'm about to talk about is actually slower. But that is nothing compared to the TVR Griffith, which maxes out at 220 miles per hour, almost 20 miles an hour faster than this car. And if you look at the stats of the TVR, you're not really losing much except for the acceleration. It does have quite a bit lacking in that area compared to the rest of the high-end D-Class cars, but that top speed is just so good that it really doesn't matter once you get up to speed in some of those longer, more top speed oriented tracks. So if you're looking for a D-Class car that has really good top speed, I would look elsewhere. Again, it's not a bad car to have considering it's better than a couple of other rivals in its class, but if you're looking for the best, you gotta go with the TVR Griffith. Now, if you look on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have handling and acceleration, and this car definitely has decent acceleration at 77. It's pretty good compared to some of the other D-Class cars, but it pales in comparison to something like the Volkswagen Electric R. That has 87 acceleration, and that is super awesome because it gets up to its top speed really quickly, as I mentioned in the separate review about that car. But the important part about the Volkswagen is that you can unlock it just by using Clash Store currency, which you can obtain easily over time. In fact, that's how I got all of the blueprints and started up. So that car not only has dramatically better acceleration, it also has quite decent handling and nitro compared to the Alfa Romeo. So if you're looking for something for twistier tracks, you're obviously going to want the Volkswagen Electric R compared to this car. So again, this car is in the middle of a top speed focused car and a handling and acceleration focused car. And that's where my biggest issue comes into play with the Alfa, is that it's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. But I was quite disappointed with the handling. I think if it were a bit more sharp around the corners, like unfortunately you'll see around the last turn in the Paris run in this video, you'll see that this car just can't quite make it as clean as it should, in my opinion. So that's where this car really falls apart for me. I think if it had better handling, this could be a beast of a car, especially for multiplayer, because you can't predict what track you're gonna get. So let's say you get the TVR Griffith and you head out in multiplayer ready to dominate, but you end up getting a track like Tuscany or some other handling focused track, you're kind of out of luck. Or on the opposite side, if you're ready to go up to speed really quickly and pass everyone at the beginning of the race with a Volkswagen Electric R, but turns out you're playing Himalayas, that's sort of unfortunate. And that's where I thought the Alfa Romeo would do really well, because you could theoretically play with this car in any track and do fine. But that handling just leaves a lot to be desired. One last thing I want to mention about this Alfa Romeo Giulia is that at low stars, as I was going through the Grand Prix at 1 star so far, I can tell you this car is absolute garbage. So if you want this car, I definitely recommend trying your hardest to get it at max, because otherwise I don't think this is going to be a contender at all for most multiplayer or event situations. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave you with the rest of the races, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts about the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTAm in the comment section down below. Did it live up to your expectations, or is it not good enough? Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.